Family stayed with us in the hotel whilst I did quarantine in Dhaka. I tried Bangladeshi KFC, watched a flute player in the streets before buying a flute off him. One of the most tranquil moments of my life was on this rooftop. Watch the blog to find out how. Before I could leave quarantine, I had to do a mandatory government COVID test. I watched as the family who owned this house set it up for a wedding. And I just couldn't help myself. One night I ended up sneaking around the hotel during late night. And this is the moment I prepared to leave the hotel and head to the village to see my family for the first time in 15 years. Watch how I got through the quarantine before heading to the village. Last episode, I showed you when I arrived in Dhaka airport and then met my family before heading to the hotel for quarantine. Soon as I got in the car, my nephew gave us my new mobile SIM. Right, so I've got to the hotel now. I'm just going to check in. Chill the out. Once we checked in, I went upstairs to check out my room, which had a lovely balcony view. And after a quick look around, I decided that I would settle for that room. Once I was checked in, I got freshened up and then had a good catch up with my cousin on the balcony. Doesn't feel quite real. Just literally sat on this balcony for ages. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, yeah, and there's just loads of people out in the streets, loads of cars and that still about. But eventually I did go to sleep. Day 2 of quarantine in Bangladesh, and man is stuck on his balcony. That morning, I went down to the hotel restaurant with my family and we all had some breakfast before I went on to have a nice catch up with my uncle here, who is my mum's youngest brother. There wasn't much to do as I couldn't leave the hotel, so I spent the majority of the morning watching this guy hanging off the side of this building painting. Later that afternoon, my nephew went out and got some food before I went back on the balcony to watch this guy paint. He's just asking for an accident, isn't he? Then I started bird watching after noticing some eagles, which I thought looked unusual in the city, but were pretty cool to see. Have you seen that? It's called Blue Ocean Tavern. And have you seen this one? It's called Hotel Wheat Dream. I thought that was the eagle there, I was just about to scatter inside. Look at this, one of my cousin's pals just arrived from UK today to Bangladesh and he's put a Facebook live video on saying he's been there since 10 o'clock this morning and they're still not letting him out. It's now 3:30, so he's been there for nearly 6 hours. As the sun started to set, I went down to my cousin's room where we had ordered food to eat. Before chilling and watching a few movies, I put on The Raid, which they'd never seen before. I showed them Ip Man, which they absolutely loved. And later that night, we ordered more food from one of the nearby local restaurants. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty tired now. I got woke up by reception this morning. They were asking if I wanted breakfast. And I was like, why are you ringing us, waking us up to ask that? And it turns out, obviously, I'm not allowed to leave the hotel, I'm on quarantine, so naturally they were going to say, do you want breakfast? So I took myself to bed before midnight and got my head down. So my uncle's just come and woke us up there. Day 3 of quarantine in Bangladesh. My family popped up to see how I was before leaving us to get freshened up. Right, so that's me showered and all freshened up now. Sent the nephew out with some bait, let's see what he comes back with. What you're hearing is the sound of the call to prayer being recited over a megaphone in the city. Bangladesh KFC. I was quick to stereotype them, saying look, they sell rice here, but turns out apparently you can get them in the UK KFCs as well. I watched this flute player on the street below before my uncle went down and actually bought a flute off him. Tiki this much, he's dyed his hair. Oh! Oh, Tata! Tiki's red. He's dyed his hair behind red. My nephew took us up to the roof of the hotel so we could look over the city views, and this is where I experienced one of the most tranquil moments of my entire life. There wasn't much to do besides talking to my family on the balconies, and when it turned evening, we all chilled together, watched a few more movies before ordering more food from one of the local restaurants. After we ate, I gave my cousin one of the gifts I'd brought him, which was a brown leather jacket. I thought you would like it. And he was really happy with the gift. Right, so on day 4 quarantine in Bangladesh, let's go outside, see what it's like today. It was actually really nice and reassuring having my family with us in the hotel during the quarantine. I've got to go upstairs in 5 minutes because the doctor's here for us now. So I went up the roof with my nephew, but there was already a few people waiting to be tested, so I just looked over the city landscape to pass the time. Once everyone had been tested, I went over to the doctor, who proceeded to take the COVID test, which ultimately would either send us back home to the UK or set us free, meaning I could go to the village. The doctor informed us we would receive the result the next day. Until then, there wasn't much I could do besides relax and try and be patient. So the flute's back out. Hard work, what's that, Unky? In Islam, our holy land is in Saudi Arabia, and our holy book, the Quran, is written in Arabic, hence why the call to prayer is recited in Arabic as well. Because I was doing the mandatory government-required quarantine, which restricted me from leaving the hotel, that meant I was unable at the time to go to the local mosque to attend prayers. I'll give me nephew some credit, like he brung in some cushy scran. We FaceTimed me cousin in the village who showed us me pet monkey Pablo. Pablo! Spider-Man. Spider-Man. If I'm honest, I'd been so concerned about COVID, rules, restrictions and quarantine that it wasn't until this moment that I actually started wondering about the adventures that were to come ahead in Bangladesh. On the hotel staff doing his prayers on the rooftop. So that way will be the direction of Mecca and Saudi, and whatever direction you're in the world you'll face towards there. How nice that house doing there starting to look. By the time it turned evening and they turned the lights on, the house was looking amazing. That night we ordered more food, but I didn't really have much of an appetite because I was too busy worrying about my COVID result, which was going to come the next day. I hope tomorrow arrives really quick, and I just hope the test comes back negative so I can just get the hell out of here. If anything, it's just been a big mental thing today. It's all the mind play. Do you know what I mean? If that hadn't happened today, I would have just been fine sitting down quarantine thinking, oh, I'll just be another 3 more days and I'll go. But the fact that they told us I can actually potentially get out tomorrow, it starts playing tricks on your mind. Do you know what I mean? It starts making things more difficult to deal with. Like, for whatever reason today, I just can't seem to sleep. I've just been restless all night. Mosquitoes have been biting me like for the last couple of days. I only now have decided to dig out the mosquito cream and go upstairs to the top floor to see if it's open. So I thought while I'm on the top floor, might as well have a little sneak about the place. I've got a nice clean kitchen. That's fair to say. I think there's another kitchen downstairs, but they use this one as well for some of the food. I wandered round the rooftop for a bit, got some fresh air, and waited till I was tired enough to go back downstairs to bed, because really I should have been getting some sleep. I was hoping it was going to be a big day ahead and that my test result would come back negative. So I finally managed to catch some sleep last night. Nodded off around 5 o'clock in the morning. The time's now 8:37. So I'm going to get myself up and see what potentially day 5 of quarantine is going to look like outside. So already outside, I can see that it's not a very nice day today. There's no blue in the sky. Doesn't feel very warm. It's not exactly cold. See that very soon. So I'm going to get my COVID test result back in half an hour. You would think the way these are packed in my bags that my test already came back negative. They've obviously got high hopes for us getting out of here. So have I. Fingers crossed, let's see what happens very soon. And they were right to pack me bags because the test came back negative and I was given the go-ahead to leave the hotel. So I went up the rooftops to take in the views one last time. Now the driver was waiting outside as well and I was about to leave the hotel, which was really exciting because I'd been stuck in the place for It's happened, guys. I'm finally leaving the hotel. I'm out of quarantine. I'm going to the village. This is where the real journey begins. Right, let's get packed up, guys, ready to rock and roll. I can't explain how good it feels to just be able to walk about on the street. See what this mush is selling over here. Some fresh local produce. And so the real journey begins as I got in the car and prepared to leave the capital city to head to my dad's village.